Great. All right, we're going to get started. I am Jeff McDowell. I'm a program manager for security and compliance for SharePoint and OneDrive. This is Matt Swan. He's the lead of our security engineering team. He's been working on SharePoint security for about 14 years now. Yep. Matt's going to kick things off. So why don't you go ahead?
Thank you for joining me. I'm here to talk to you about how we defend the cloud, about how we safeguard your data in OneDrive and in SharePoint. Now, typically, when we talk about security, we start by talking about defense in depth. This is all of the work that we do to prevent an intrusion, to prevent an attacker from getting unauthorized access to your data. And we start with the physical layer, right? We have world-class data centers that use biometric authentication and video recording to ensure that only our site services engineers are on the premises and that we know everything that they do. We isolate our networks. We partition and isolate our Active Directory domains. We encrypt our content at rest and in transit, both with BitLocker and with per-file encryption. We build a secure application using the security development lifecycle, and we control access by ensuring that our engineers use two-factor authentication. They never have standing access to our data center. And in fact, when our engineers in some certain circumstance would ever ask for access to your content, you would know about it through our program called Customer Lockbox. But what I want to share with you today is all the work that we do for defense in action. This is the work that my team and Jeff's team do every single day to prevent any unauthorized access to your data, to keep it secure today on a Tuesday, just as secure as when we designed all of those defensive mechanisms on the previous slide. So I'm going to talk about 5 things. I'm going to talk about how we managed to keep a secure baseline across 250,000 machines that run SharePoint Online and OneDrive, about how we collect telemetry from each one of those machines and from Azure to know whether your data is safe, about how we use that data to profile threats and do intrusion detection, about how we do incident response at massive scale when we detect something bad, and about how we use red team engagements to keep us on our toes and ensure that we're prepared to fight that battle. Now, keeping a secure baseline at this scale is a real challenge, right? How many of you are confident that you know exactly whether antivirus is running on every single machine in your fleet, whether those are corporate desktops or machines in the server? How many of you could tell me exactly how many days it's been since each one of those machines last received AV updates? That was our challenge here. And so what we did is we instrumented our data center with a custom agent that every hour polls for questions and returns answers back up to a distributed cache that we've built using Azure Redis. That data drives ad hoc processes where our engineers can ask questions and investigate machines that are non-compliant. We use this data to report to our leadership about the state and the security health of every machine in our data center. And we do that not by talking about percentages, because in a fleet of hundreds of thousands, even 0.1% of machines that are non-compliant or unhealthy is too many for us to be comfortable with. But my favorite thing that we do is we use this data for auto-healing, so that every few hours, we query for machines that are in an unhealthy state, and we run a process called Harvester, where we tear those machines down, whether they're virtual machines or physical machines, re-image them, bring them back to health, and put them back into the fleet automatically with no human intervention. So our engineers build this, they set it up, they keep it going, and then they work on something else. They don't have to constantly be running on that treadmill to keep every machine healthy. On that strong foundation, we also need to worry about machines that maybe are missing that agent. So we also taught our agent to scan its neighbors and to look for machines on the network on that local /24 subnet that are online, responding to ping, but not running our security agent. And in just the same way, we auto-heal those machines to make sure that they're healthy as well. So on that foundation, now I want to understand everything that's going on all of those hundreds of thousands of machines. To do this, we built a custom security agent that uses the power of Windows event tracing, Windows ETW, to listen to all of the low-level operating system behavior. So we watch every thread that gets created, every bit of memory that gets allocated, every process that's started, all the PowerShell commands, WMI commands, and network activity. And we build a real-time system in that agent to scan that activity and look for anything that might be evidence of an intrusion. So if a process initiates a connection to a destination outside the data center, we watch it. If a process creates a thread in another process, we watch it. If a process receives a WMI event or it runs PowerShell, we watch that too. And this is on top of things like Defender ATP or the Defender anti-malware engine that my colleague talked about right before this talk. We use that data as a source of rich forensics. We log that to the security event log so that we can go back in time, and we maintain this data for a year so that we can go back and understand what happened in the past. And we also use it for real-time correlation and alerting so that we can respond now in the present. But SharePoint Online also takes advantage of the limitless storage of Azure SQL and Azure Blob, so we need to defend that content too. Every time that you upload a document to OneDrive or to SharePoint Online, that goes into Azure SQL and Azure Blob. Azure generates audit records for us, saying, hey, your front-end or back-end servers just interacted with your storage account or your Azure SQL database. We've built a real-time system that's spread over 16 geographic locations that consumes those audit events in real time to make sure that only our service's IP addresses are accessing your storage, that only our service is doing delete operations or edit operations in SQL. And it keeps track of every engineer's logon and baselines that and helps us understand whether any unauthorized access has happened not only to our Windows fleet, but also directly to the data that we store in Azure. So combined, that generates about 70 billion events a day that we process in real time. And after we run our analytics on that, whether those are threshold-based or Oracle-based or anomaly-based, or whether we're running workflows in response to data that we see, that generates about 100,000 events that are detection results that my team triages every day. And so it's really important to understand, I don't factor this out to some security operations center. I don't have a team of vendors that look at this data. The same engineers that build the service also do intrusion detection and look at the results every single day. We believe that creates a virtuous cycle that keeps your data safer. But we can't keep up with 100,000, right? That's a big number, even for a team of talented humans. So we take that data and we cluster it together. And we say, show me clusters where multiple detections are firing on the same machine, the same user, the same IP address, where they have entities in common. And this is a real graph of red team penetration test activity in our environment. And as we were working on this analytic, we discovered that real malicious activity by our own internal penetration testers links many detections together in a way that we could identify versus something that's not, where one detection just went haywire on a whole bunch of machines. And so we use this as another real-time algorithm to take what might be low-fidelity detections and give us a paging escalation if it ever sees malicious activity. So when we do see something malicious, what do? Well, we use those same agents, and we can give them signatures, IP addresses, domains, process names that we've discovered are associated with the threat actor that we're tracking. And if a threat appears on one of those machines, our agent notices that IP address communication, that DNS lookup, and gives us an immediate paging alert. Likewise, we can run workflows across the whole data center looking for custom signatures that we build for bytes in memory or bytes on disk, files with a certain hash. So we run those Yara scans across the whole environment, and that too produces alerts that we can follow up. When we're ready to flip into remediation mode, when we've uncovered all of the adversary's malware or his other command and control in the environment, we can issue commands to our agents to wipe out the malware by saying not only alert when you see something bad, but also suspend that process, terminate it, move or block that IP address, block those domain resolutions. And to make sure that we're ready to do this on a day-by-day basis, we exercise with the Office 365 Red Team. This is a set of full-time engineers who have access to my source code, my bug database, my engineers, my designs. They have access to my detection system and all of my agents and the things that I do to defend the data center. Their job is to find the unknown unknowns that I might not have considered when I built this. They show me the truth about myself, even in the places where it hurts, because getting that truth and incorporating it to better protect your data means I'm ready and I know I'm not going to have a gap when a real threat actor is present in my environment. So I talked about defense in action, the 5 things that we do to make sure that every machine is healthy, that we know what happens on every machine in an Azure, that we're prepared to detect a breach and to respond to one, and how we practice day by day, kind of like how you would practice a fire drill if you need to be ready to get out of a building when a fire occurs. But there's also work that you can do to apply these same principles to how you manage your tenant in Office 365. And so my colleague Jeff, our security program manager for security and compliance, is going to share that with you.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'm going to just talk a little bit about some of the things that Office 365 and SharePoint and OneDrive specifically give you so that you can kind of practice intrusion detection and response and establish secure baselines on your own users and your own information that's stored in the cloud. So I'm going to kind of go back over each of the points that Matt touched on and talk about how you can take those and extend them to protect your own files, your own users, your own content. The first would be establishing a secure baseline. If you're using SharePoint Online or OneDrive for Business in the cloud, establishing a secure baseline, well, you know that we're taking care of the security of the actual online service, patching those servers, making sure they're healthy, looking for intrusion detection in the service. But one thing you need to consider is managing who can log in to your tenant? Where can files and information be uploaded to, from what type of device? Basically, what are all the endpoints and how are you securing those? So there's a couple things you can do there. The first is we have this tool on the Office 365 Admin Center, probably a lot of you folks are familiar with, called the Secure Score. And I'm going to actually, from this point on, jump through a couple of demos and show you some of these things you can do.
Can I just flip you?
Yep. Am I up on screen? Okay, cool. So we have this tool called the Microsoft Secure Score, which you can get to from the Office 365 Admin Center. And this is a great first step place to go if you just want to know what are the baseline security best practices that Microsoft and Office 365 security team recommend for securing your data. You can see kind of an overall score of how we think you're doing, how your organization's security posture is, and then a set of recommendations, each of which has a weight depending on how important it is. So for example, enable multi-factor auth for your admins, for your highly privileged admins, 50 points. That's one of the most important things you can possibly do. And then there will also be specific recommendations and controls for SharePoint or OneDrive or Exchange. If I go look at SharePoint and OneDrive for Business, for example, I can find a recommendation that says that you should go classify your information. There we go. You should basically go classify your sites and your information in SharePoint Online, figure out what your high-value files and content are, and consider applying policies to those so that those are protected, for example, from being downloaded to devices not managed by your organization or from being shared with external users. If I want to go act on one of these recommendations, I can go over to the SharePoint Admin Center. I can pick a site, and if I go down here, you can see that as an admin, I can apply policy to control where this content can be shared, whether it's with anybody or only existing external users or only people in my organization. And I can also now, you may have seen this in a couple other sessions, apply labels to these site collections or OneDrive for Business sites that I can go create in the Office 365 Admin Center, and I can attach policy to these labels. So if I go through and just categorize my different SharePoint or OneDrive sites as, let's say, general or confidential or top secret, I can have policies attached to those that come along with it. If I were to apply the confidential label to this site, for example, it would mean that if I accessed this from a device that wasn't being managed by my organization, I could view the content, but I couldn't actually download, sync, or print it. I couldn't take it off and down out of the cloud and with me. I could apply more restrictive policy to actually block access entirely. So that's just a little bit about establishing a secure baseline. There's a lot more policies, and there's actually a lot of sessions this week about policy and access control. If you just look up SharePoint Online policy and access control, you can catch some of those. There was actually a couple earlier today, so you can catch those recorded. Let's talk about intrusion detection. In Office 365, we have this unified audit log. So in the Admin Center, there's an audit log which has over 6,000 different types of events, kind of rolled up all together from SharePoint OneDrive Exchange, all the other services and workloads that combine into Office 365. And as an admin, you can go search here for different types of events. For example, I want to look for detected malware in a file. And this is one place you can go if you want to kind of review what's been going on in your tenant. And you can do basic alerting here. So for example, I just did a search for malware detected in files, and I can see that I've got a couple hits for this. I can see the IP address and what user performed the activity. I can also see what site the malware was uploaded to. And if I want to say, you know, from now on when I see this type of event, I want an alert, I can create that right from here. If I want to do more complex alerting, there's a couple different options. There's an add-on called Threat Intelligence that lets you do alerting not just based on a single event triggering, but based on either a threshold or anomaly detection type alerts. And there's also an API that lets you pull down all of these different events. If you have your own detection alerting system already on premise and you just want to pull these in and feed them in, you can pull those events down as they appear and basically plug them into your own existing system. So let's talk a little bit about, let's say you do detect something and now you want to figure out how to remediate. Well, first of all, one of the nice things about being on a service like Office 365 is you are not alone. There are many, many customers also kind of going through the same scenarios. So the first thing I would say is that we have a lot of great documentation. In particular, the Office 365 security blog, and I'll link that at the end of this talk, is a really good resource for our Office security team keeps tabs on evolving industry threats and puts up articles on how to proactively mitigate those and also how to respond to them if you do see them. But a couple specific examples. Let's say that I have found evidence of malware on this particular OneDrive for Business. So this is a OneDrive that belongs to a user named Sesha, who's one of my admins, so that's pretty serious. Well, first of all, there's this audit log. So if I suspect that Sesha's account has potentially been compromised, I could go review my audit log, see what other content what other content he has interacted with, what machines he's logged in from, see if I can try to find kind of the extent of the incident. And then also I have options for recovery. For example, let's say that I think that Sesha's OneDrive for Business has been hit by a ransomware style attack. All users in OneDrive for Business have the ability to do a self-service restore back to a specific point in time. We also have some kind of new and advanced capabilities such that if Windows Defender has picked up alerts letting us know that malware affected a given machine at a specific point in time, the OneDrive Sync client will actually recommend, here's the restore point you need to go back to. This is when we thought your system was good. So finally, let me talk a little bit about red team testing. SharePoint and OneDrive for Business also participate in the Microsoft Bug Bounty program. And this is a program where if you have security expertise, if you have security researchers, if you find a bug or if you're performing pen testing yourself within your own organization, you can follow our rules of engagement and report those to Microsoft and basically help make the service more secure for everybody. This has been a great program and we encourage people to take a look at that. We also have some add-on tools that let you actually perform limited attack scenarios against yourself. Some of those E5 add-on capabilities in the Security and Compliance Center will let you do things like a password spray or a brute force attack against your own users, or you can even attempt a phishing attack. Anyway, let me flip back. Yeah, go ahead. All right, so a lot of information in a short amount of time. Links are here to pretty much everything we talked about, and Matt and I will hang out off to the side after this talk if there are questions, or you can find us at the Security and Compliance booth throughout the week, the SharePoint Security and Compliance booth throughout the week. If you guys take away one thing, I hope it's that we put a ton of effort into the security space. It's constantly evolving, but we take it very, very seriously. We will continue to do so, and I hope you guys will consider SharePoint Online and OneDrive for Business the safest place for your files. Thank you.